Well, hello.
Wow, it's been a while. It's been a
Long
while.
time no see.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, everybody coming in. Hello, everybody watching. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching that number pop up there. I actually got nervous when I saw that number climbing. I think they missed you, Rekkr.
uh,
Yeah.
nah. They're all here for you.
No, no, I don't think so. No, not live
I'm too
watching.
humble for them to actually care.
Oh gosh, Mr. Humble. Yes. Here we go. Hi, Mrs. C. Hey, Shill. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. Hopefully, we don't get any bots and you won't get much to do and you can just enjoy listening. But, like, so, yeah, welcome back. It's
Yep.
yeah. I'm feeling kind of, are you up for it? You ready? Yeah.
Absolutely. This is after my exams, after my last exam, like nothing is going to stress me out to that level ever again until my next exams.
Until your next thing, I was just gonna say, well, you got a whole other semester coming up, so good. But I hear you. It's like that's the kind of pressure. Like yeah, the before studying and the I'm a terrible test taker, so I just the pressure is just like whoa, just too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully I'm got all good thoughts. Hopefully you get good results and yeah, it'll be all worth it in the long run.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. So you got a short break. We're gonna get a couple of these in, and we'll see how next semester goes. But what do we got
Yes.
going on for today? We've got chapter 33. I understand. Yeah.
Yep. Chapter 33. discover each man's thumbscrew.
Oh, so
And
we're
for
just
anyone
yeah. Go ahead.
that doesn't know what a thumbscrew is, it's a torture device where they would put your thumb in this little vice thing and they'd squish it.
Yeah,
It had a screw on it.
I don't know if the internet was ready for us to come back with torture stream, but I guess we'll get through. I mean,
Wait, that's not what these streams are about? What did I
you
sign
know,
up for then?
you know what? Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I think that that's what you did sign me up to do. All of these 48 laws with Robert Greene, because sometimes like he's very cynical about the ways of the world and how to get things accomplished. And I do think he's into torturing people a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
especially when he talks about history. Or, when we get like all those little history nuggets of how
Oh yeah.
manipulative the courts were, and the royal courts were, and like, you know, yeah, you sneezed in the wrong direction and you lost your head, you know, and stuff like that.
Can't sneeze if you don't have a head.
This is true. Won't be spreading no germs like that way. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
twofer. It's definitely a twofer. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. I'm glad you're listening. It's nice to have you here. Yep. So, I guess I should bring up the presentation. What do you think? When you get this ball rolling?
Absolutely.
Yes. For those of you just coming in or who are not familiar with what we do here, we're taking each chapter of the 48 laws. And I know it's been done before. This book by Robert Greene on how to get power. It's actually been outlawed in prisons and everything because people took it too damn serious. In the challenge that was presented to me by Rekkr, which, I'm still wondering how I actually feel about that, was to make it relatable to more than just power play situations like, big business deals and, conquering empires in war, or, you know, um, just treading on the backs of others to get ahead, trying to make some part of it more usable and relatable to like everyday kind of situations. And I have to admit, it's been quite the challenge in some ways.
Yep.
And this might be one. This might be one of those challenges that you bring. So okay, so whoop, okay, whoop, there we are. So you can break with what this chapter starts.
Okay. So this chapter, discover each man's thumbscrew, and the judgment is everyone has a weakness, a gap in the castle wall. That weakness is usually an insecurity, an uncontrollable emotion or need. It can also be a small secret pleasure. Either way, once found, it is a thumbscrew you can turn to your advantage.
Quite the word thumbscrew. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely, I mean, like a torture device, absolutely. And yeah. And so right away, I think some of you will know what my issue is with this chapter. It is clear manipulation of another's uh, vulnerabilities, emotional needs, weaknesses, whatever. It's like targeted, and I guess depending on how you look at it, for malicious intent. I can't see
Well, yeah.
good intents there, and I'm gonna bring this one up. Oh my gosh, that is very generous of you, Shil, and thank you very much. Um, that still, every time I see that, I can't believe it. Like it seems very unreal, but I do appreciate the gesture and thank you very much. And I'll do something really good with that donation. So I appreciate it. It's like, we'll put it to good use. Yeah, we'll put it to good use. Um, yes, Mousy, it's exploitation. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Um, it definitely falls in manipulation and exploitation in um especially when most thumb screws, when you think about it, Rekkr doesn't like that. Like, it's people's fears, their their
Yeah.
paranoias, the things that really would bot their triggers, traumatic things. It's not like a mild thing that they're going to be focusing on. It can
Mm-hmm.
cause a problem for the other person. Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's basically using someone's, well, deepest fears or greatest, I guess, weaknesses
Mm-hmm.
in a way to gain your own upper hand, or to have your own goal accomplished without having to do anything yourself other than get this person to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, life insurance. How many times has life insurance people been like, "Oh, you never know what's going to happen. You
Right.
never
Like
know.
the,
Tomorrow could be it."
the fear of the unknown in like, how am I going to leave my family? What are they going to be able to do? Definitely
Mm-hmm.
putting the thumb screws to you that you need to take care of these and we need to make money on you every year for the rest of your life, even if nothing happens. Like, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Insurance is a very good example of using thumb screws, using people's fear of the unknown or what could happen, or, yep, um, to their advantage. Yep. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
targeted marketing. Yeah. Ouch. Mm, it's everywhere. But that's a perfect example.
Exactly.
So now that we said that we don't like this law, let's tell them how to use it. Like, let's explain how this gets done. It's like, why not, right? Like, why not?
Absolutely.
I have to bring up. And for those of you that want to follow along, we're going to be reading a little bit from the book. Actually, there is a link to the PDF in the description for the YouTube video. Uh, okay. Where? Why don't I have the book up? Like, okay. I'm a
It
little,
might be useful.
just a little bit, right? I mean, since we're supposed to read from it and everything, like it would have been probably in my best interest to be a little bit better prepared. But in my defense, I'm just gonna claim the oh my gosh, I'm just out of practice. Like, it's been a
Yes.
while. It's been a while. I'm just so happy to be out here live again. It's been so long that I just don't know what to do with myself. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have your book open?
I do have my book open.
Give me a PDF number. Was it like 298 or something?
295.
295. Okay. I was close. 298. Okay. Would you like to take the first one?
I certainly can. So the first one is pay attention to gestures and unconscious signals. Um, as Sigmund Freud remarked, no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingers. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. This is a critical concept in the search for a person's weakness. It is revealed by seemingly unimportant gestures and passing words. The key is not is not only what you look for, but where and how you look. Everyday conversation supplies the richest mine of weaknesses. So train yourself to listen. Start by always seeming interested. The appearance of an the appearance of a sympathetic air will spur anyone to talk. A clever trick often used by the 19th century French salesman Talleyrand, if anyone remembers, great guy.
He's
Heard
so
he's
popular in this book. Yes.
yeah, yep. I heard he's quite a stand-up person. Yep.
In
Uh,
the most manipulative way possible, yes.
exactly. He'll stand up and steal your seat. Uh, so, French salesman Talleyrand is to appear to open up to the other person, to share a secret with them. It can be completely made up or it can be real, but of no great importance to you. The important thing is that it should seem to come from the heart. This will usually elicit a response that is not only as frank as yours, but more genuine, a response that reveals a weakness. If you suspect that someone has a particular soft spot, probe for it indirectly. For instance, you sense that a man has a need to be loved. Openly flatter him. If he laps up your compliments, no matter how obvious, you are on the right track. Train your eye for details. How someone tips a waiter. What what delights a person. The hidden messages in clothes. Find people's idols, the things they worship, and will do anything to get. Perhaps you can be the supplier of this of their fantasies. Remember, since we all try to hide our weaknesses, there is little to be learned from our conscious behavior. What oozes out in the little things outside our conscious control is what you want to know. Now, this is actually this is actually good advice. Um, and and before anyone says this is manipulation, you're
Of
right,
course.
a
You're
hundred
right, of
percent.
course. Yes.
Um, but I just wanted to, I'll give you a little soundbite that someone can use down the road. Um, no,
Trust you.
this is
Okay.
this is actually good advice in the sense that if you use this to actually, instead of trying to manipulate someone, but to actually genuinely learn about someone, to learn, and you want someone to open up to you more, not in a way that not in the way that you want to manipulate them, but in a way that you want to actually genuinely get to know them. This is actually genuinely good advice on how to do it. Um, it's all, I guess you could boil it down to all intent.
Yes. Intention. Yeah. It, ah, that's a good one. Yeah, I hope they do clip that
Hmm.
on you, actually. Intention. Um, but here's the thing, like, because it's such manipulate, like, we'd be foolish to think that manipulation doesn't happen consciously or unconsciously everywhere, with everyone.
Absolutely.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it does kind of like reinforce, like this chapter kind of reinforces my thought that, like, that's a lot of energy to put out. Like everything they said in the first thing on how to find the thumb screw, you got to pay attention to everything, take in all the details. You're looking for things to use against people, like how they dress, this, that, and the other thing. That's a lot of work. It just struck me that my belief that it takes so much energy to be disingenuous as a
Oh
person
yeah.
that I don't have time for it. I'm just going to be genuine. Like
I
I don't care enough
I'm with you.
to do
I'm
it.
with you. I am far too lazy to put this much effort in.
I'm
Like,
going to be
what do you what
a
what
lazy
what do
life
you want me?
manipulator. Yes, that's
Yeah,
me. Lazy life manipulator. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I don't have
I'm
time for
I'm too
this.
I'm too lazy to be a bad person.
I know. And if I cannot achieve like the magnitude of power that seems to be the obsession with here, if you're in America, I know you're in New Zealand, it might be a little bit different there, but here in America, like power, whether it be money or influence, reputation, is like it's the air we breathe in America. Now I know some won't want to admit it. I don't even want to admit it because it just sounds so wrong that that would be our main thing. Well, power, yes, power. You know, you know,
Mm.
yes. When you want control, this is all in a day's work. Absolutely, and it takes the
Yep.
whole damn day. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And hello, Purple. Thanks for joining us. Same, it's too hard to remember what I told to who. Exactly. Just be yourself, be genuine, be real. And, you know, like it's good to pay attention to all of these little things. But, like, I even though we're going to tell you how their actual green is explaining how to do this, it's actually in preparation so you know when it's being done and you don't have to react to it and you're just going to be aware of it and you can protect yourself from it because that's half the battle, especially like out
Mm-hmm.
here on the internet. Like I tell you, like, sometimes I think the interwebs is one of the most dangerous things I've ever done in my life, and I've had a life. But actually, the last 5 years spent out here, I have learned quite a few life lessons out here, um, that I didn't think I'd ever have to deal with. You know, it could be it can be a volatile place. You know, um,
Yep.
people will act more bold out here than they would if they were like in a room with you. If you were actually in a room with a conversation, face to face.
Oh,
There are
absolutely.
things that people do out here that they would never even contemplate if they could be held to real one-on-one accountability, and that's the truth. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
truth of the matter. As much as we all want to be as real as we can out here, it's just the truth of the matter. There's no denying it. Like, you know, we all fall victim, prey, or are susceptible to actually doing it, because the boundaries are harder to see. You have to actually have to concentrate on the boundaries to apply them, because out here on the internet it's like they're very hard to see. The boundaries are much harder
Absolutely.
to see, and people find it easier to jump over them.
Yeah, especially when
Yeah.
they believe that that they have a level of anonymity.
And that's the thing, like, you know, that's a whole conversation. Like right now, you and I both are using an avatar, but we both,
Mm-hmm.
like, people know our real names, and we know, and they know who we are. Like, I'm not hiding. My real
Mm-hmm.
name is Claire. That's me. And if you want to search me, you're gonna find me. You're gonna be able to find everything about me because I never came out here pretending to be anybody else or with the intention to be anybody else. What I did have the intention to do is not have my face out here that way, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I'm going to stick to it because it's actually worked well for me over the 5 years. And it started, just to answer a question that I get all the time. So I might as well put it back out there. It'll be boring for a lot of you that have been following me because you've heard it before. It started with the conversation of why I wanted to have a channel in the first place. And it was to continue conversations I was having privately and on other people's channels. I did a lot of paneling. And I noticed that every time we went to certain channels, like I had a friend who was a very beautiful woman. She's just knockout gorgeous. Okay. And every time I went on her panel, and we were doing a show or a talk, people would come into the chat and tell her how great her sweater was that day or how wonderful her hair looked, instead of listening to what she was saying. They were not listening to what she was saying. It was like more about like how she looked in what she like, and it was so it was so like I would hear her like why like I would have to she would have to repeat herself 4 or 5 times for anybody to get what she was saying, and it was so frustrating for her. And we would talk about it after the stream and all, and I said, like, well, we could avoid that, like just not show you what they look like, so you don't get to talk about my hair or if I put my eyeliner on right that day or whether I am wearing an appropriate color for my skin tone. Like, you don't get to talk about that with me out here because that's not what we're here for. Gonna
Mm-hmm.
be, you can pick on my cartoon character, you can say I'm trying to hide. I'm not hiding. I'm probably one of the most vulnerable people out here, because if you ask me, I will tell you, you know. So like I just wanted it to be about the conversations, which is why I did it. And so then I branded the channel with it, and then the channel got branded with it, and then now I'm a brand. In like, if you're out on YouTube, a lot of us started really, really small, but whether you want to believe it or not, you are branded. You are out here with the brand. You are known for your icon and your name and the content that you do. And it's just marketing. That's just business. That's the where I come from in the past, before I did YouTube. And so it just was natural to me that, like, that's the brand. Like, you don't change the brand, and I won't. Like, I've been approached. The reason I'm talking about this is that I have received multiple DMs about when am I doing the face reveal for reaching 100K, and I'm like, never. You don't. I don't care. Subscribe or don't subscribe. I don't care what number. I'll reach 1 million, and I still won't do the face reveal because, like,
She'll
it's not
consider it
what
at
it's about.
100 million.
I
How's
will
that?
never. No, see, don't set them up, because I'm telling you straight out, people, I will never consider it.
Well, you can consider it and still say no.
I'll start another channel if I'm going to do a face reveal. It will never be. This channel started as Avatars Live, and I meant avatars. Like, this channel was all based on avatars. The only thing that has changed is I don't push that on my guests anymore. If they want camera, they can do camera if they're comfortable with it. I'm fine. But the channel was Avatars Live. That's how it started. That's how it's always going to be. It's just, in I just not gonna do it. I'm just not. It's just a thing now. And you know me, Rekkr, I'm stubborn. The more people want it, the more I'm gonna go, nah, nope.
Exactly.
I'm sticking to my guns. Nope. Push me all you want. Yeah, well,
Shall we?
I have been exposed. Mrs. Cassandra's right. It's not like my face hasn't been out there. Like, people have
Yes.
done that. And I don't care anymore. I really don't. You know.
Yes.
Exactly, Stephen. Look, like we are of the same mindset here. Judge me by my words and not my looks. And it's not like I'm hiding, being an ogre or anything. I just don't want it to be the conversation. And I found that it was the conversation too often out here, you know. And I don't mean to be uh misandrist or anything, but it's not a conversation that men had to deal with often. But you ladies in the chat and out here on YouTube, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's always, and I don't care. I don't care. We could have a PhD, multiple master's degree. We could be an expert in our field, and it's still the conversation, the first conversation. And it's just frustrating. And I don't have the time to deal with it, you know. You know,
You have
it's
you're the greatest physicist in the theoretical physicist in the entire world. You got some nice glasses.
oh yeah, fuchsia's not your color, girl. I'm just like, like, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. But anyway, back to the thing. And welcome, Dro. And yeah, there's a link to all of the chapters in the YouTube video in description below. Or we put them in a playlist. And thank you for catching up, because they're all kind of special. And we should get back to it, because I
Mm-hmm.
know you didn't stop me. I'm talking too damn much. Like, yeah.
Sorry. I hang on. Let me just.
Don't
Oh,
you have the
damn it.
Claire shut up button? I thought I gave you
Hang on. Let
that.
me check. Let me make sure that it works. Is she quiet? Can no one can no one hear her now? Yes, it does work. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. So back to chapter 33. So another thing you need to do if you're going to be trying to be this manipulative and make this work for you, um, find the helpless child. Yeah, this one's kind of mean. Most weaknesses begin in childhood. We kind of know this is true. Before the self builds up compensatory defenses, right? Perhaps the child was pampered or indulged in a particular area, or perhaps a certain emotional need went unfulfilled. As he or she grows older, the indulgence or the deficiency may be buried but never disappears. Knowing about a childhood need gives you a powerful key to a person's weaknesses. One sign of this weakness is that when you touch on it, the person will often revert to acting like a child again. Be on the lookout then for any behavior that should have been outgrown. If your victims or rivals, I like how they say victims here. Like they actually, Green actually comes right out and admits you're damaging
This
people with this stuff.
one of the few times he's actually been like, yeah, you are actively being a
Yeah.
absolute villain right now.
Mhm. Mhm. If your victims or rivals went without something important, such as parental support, or when they were children to supply it, or it's Facsimil, something like it, if they reveal a secret taste, a hidden indulgence, indulge it. In either case, they'll be unable to resist you. I find this one extremely distasteful, but
Yeah, there's not much good that can come from this one because literally there's only two reasons why you would want to know this. You're either a therapist trying to help the person, or you're trying to do what Green's talking about here and find their thumb screw.
or you follow like the J. Edgar Hoover, like let's make a dossier on everybody like mindset, because there's got to be something we can blackmail them about, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm, no. Not for me, you know. No. Yeah. So
Yes.
and next.
The next one is look for contrasts because an overt trait often conceals its opposite. People who thump their chest are often big cowards, and prudish exteriors may hide a, liv- a lascivious soul, or some basically someone who's trying to act all innocent is probably a freak. They're probably a freak. Just yeah.
Oh, lascivious. That's what you mean. Okay. Yes, I get.
Yeah, that's it. Lascivious. What
Yeah.
that nerdy word there? Yeah. Um, the uptight are often screaming for adventure. The shy are also dying for attention. By probing beyond appearances, you'll often find people's weaknesses in the opposite of the qualities they reveal to you. This is the idea that people function on a type of reverse psychology. So
Exactly. Yeah.
people will actively attract the opposite to what they really want.
Mm.
So um, so someone who wants to let's say um, I don't know, lift weights might have a terrible habit of sitting on the couch and eating those potato chips and watching anime. I'm just attacking myself right now. Actually,
Yeah, like
I'm just straight up. I'm
little
just
bit too
attacking
much truth
myself.
telling there. Like I was like, what are we talking about here? Record? Like what's like okay. But yeah, you're right, because like the opposite thing. They say that the shy person wants adventure and stuff like that, and like it just wanting the opposite. You'll find that a lot in relationships, like the very strong individual, like that gives you the impression they don't want to be told to do or like anything like that, and then they just end up to be wanting a little bit of submissiveness in their life, on their end. Somebody bigger than them, so to speak. It's complicated like anything, but like I said, this takes so much time. I mean, I don't want to be sitting here analyzing everybody I have a conversation with, find out like
No,
who has
exactly.
the power in, you know, maybe I'm a little naive, but I think this power structure thing, like you actually get a sense of it immediately in conversations. In there's no need for any of this.
Yeah.
Seriously. You either
The
have power in the situation or you don't. But if you are
hmm
continually trying to strive for the power in the situation, like really, what is your goal? Like really, what is your damn goal? Like I understand, like when we did the 50th rule with 50 scenes, like that was all about becoming big in industry, in overcoming obstacles and everything. And he did it a little too drastically in my life because he left bodies, so to speak, everywhere. He left reputational marks that to this
allegedly.
day, no, to this day, I don't mean physical bodies. You know what I mean. Um, he he left this whole situation. He did become powerful. He does have an empire. He's great influence and all of that. But what about the reputational scars? When I think of 50 Cent, I think mean. I think of the biggest troll on the internet. I think of somebody who doesn't really care about people or who he hurts. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Even though I respect what he does with business, that it's hard to get away from because of how he did it, because of how he accomplished it. Like, that's my problem with the 48 laws is that if you use all of this, yeah, they work. Yeah, they work. But on the other side of the coin, it's not always in your best interest that they work. You may accomplish the goal, but can you keep it? Like, if you become that person, like, aren't people going to be out there to take it away from you? Are they going to be saying you don't deserve it? Or are they going to be showing you the bodies that you left behind on a regular basis? Like, you just giving people
Well,
ammunition against you.
the biggest issue with this book is that to is that not only does it work, but you have to do something that you should never strive to do to use it, which is sacrifice integrity. And if you're willing to sacrifice your integrity, you will 100% be able to use this book in any way, shape, or form. However, integ- integrity will get you places much quicker than playing these kinds of games. You might get halfway much quicker using these games, but if you don't have integrity, people tend to start to look at you
And that has come up a
side-eyed.
lot, with a lot of this, like especially even in business deals. Yes, I agree that like knowing weaknesses for in negotiations and everything, you want to know like if a certain manufacturer is having trouble getting a certain supply and you can hold it over their head for a better negotiation, a better price, whatever. That all does work. Okay. But sooner or later, if you're doing it all the time and you're doing it in an aggressive manner, people are going to want to do business with you. Like, I know that there's the opposite mindset that people say no, once you're powerful and you're up there, like it doesn't matter how you act because people are always going to gravitate to you because you're at the top. Yeah, but there's also the whole bunch of people that aren't that are going to try to remove you from the top. You don't deserve
Well,
it. They're going to be resentful. They're not going to want to keep you there. They're not going to be happy to be doing business with you. The way I look at it is if I'm building a long-term business relationship with someone, I want them comfortable with who I am so that I am their first thought, not, oh my God, I have to deal with that one. Like that's the
hmm
only one I got had to deal with that. That's not a comfortable feeling for me, like at all. To think that that would be the doubt that they couldn't trust my decision making, they couldn't trust my business practices. They didn't feel that there was at least we're all trying to succeed, and it is the game of business, so it is a little bit of cutthroat, but we're all following the rules while we did it. Is a little bit of comfort for me, even though I know
exactly. And
80% of them don't. But you
here's the
know.
thing that I don't think gets mentioned enough. For every one successful person that basically who basically uh, manipulated his way to the top, there's probably thousands who tried doing it unsuccessfully.
Mm-hmm.
So to there is a level of uh um no one's really that special. The chances of you being that kind of special and that you're going to be able to manipulate your way all the way to the top successfully is so slim. And if you are at any good with numbers in any way, shape, or form, you will know playing the odds like a gamble will never end up getting you to the top more than 80.
Very
You might have a
unlikely.
15. Yeah, very, very unlikely.
Yeah. It's not worth the gamble because you're not only just
No.
gambling the actual success, you're gambling your reputation in anything that you want to do along the way.
Yep.
But anyway, back to showing you how to do it. find
Yes.
find the weak link. Sometimes in your search for weakness, it is not what but who that matters. In today's versions of the court, like the royal courts, there is often someone behind the scenes who has a great deal of power, a tremendous influence over the person superficially on top. These behind the scenes power brokers are the group's weak link. Win their favor and you indirectly influence the king. Alternately, even in a group of people acting with the appearance of one will, as when a group is under attack, closes ranks to resist an outsider, there is always a weak link in the chain. Find the one person who will bend under pressure. Now, here it is. This is like just making targets. It's like, but
Mm-hmm.
this is true. There's always, like in any group, there's always the one who is gonna falter under pressure. Like, you know, that's why there are no secrets. If you have two people in a conversation, there are no secrets. Okay, the only
Yeah.
secrets you can keep are the ones you tell yourself. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get it's going to get out there somehow, some way. That's not to mean that
Yep.
people aren't trustworthy or that they don't keep confident. They don't keep confidences. Of course they do. And I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying it's more likely, especially the more people you involve in anything, that things are going to get distorted or out there or given to the other side, even innocently, to be used against you. I mean, it's gonna happen. People talk, people do things. People succumb to flattery and their own agendas in desires to accomplish things. Depending on what's offered. You know,
Exactly.
anyone can be used against you. But how do you find the secret power brokers behind the scenes? Like that's the thing. Like they're telling you to like find that person like behind the scenes.
Well, I
How that's definitely too much time that I don't have to
I
figure it out. Yeah.
I actually think there is a moniker of good information in this as well. Um, and it's not if you take this at face value, yeah, you're like Purple said, you're just deciding who's the easiest to bully.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, if they're smaller, then just I don't know, shove them or something.
Mm-hmm.
Take their lunch money. I don't know if that's what you want to do. Just be prepared for the consequences. However, if you want to actually do this in a way that won't end poorly for you, this is actually just telling you to network, to you know, get to know people, get to know get to know the people around you. And eventually if you network enough, this is often talked about a lot in business, if I'm right, Claire. Is
Yeah. Yeah.
networking is quite a common thing to talk about in business.
Yeah. Absolutely the found. It can be one of the keys to whether you're successful or you fail because it's like You need to know the
Yeah,
right people for the right type of products, conversations, links to better deals, stuff like that. It sometimes it's who you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so with that, you know, it's not so much finding the weakest link, because that, well, let me put it this way. If you if you grab onto a rope that is already falling apart, how are you meant to pull yourself up with it?
Mm.
You're not going to do that, are you?
No.
No. So it's not necessarily a good idea to find the weakest link. What
True.
it
Well,
is a good idea to do is to
use
actually.
the other person,
Hmm?
but they're using it against the other person.
Well, they're trying to, yes. But often, especially nowadays, a lot of people are quite. A lot of people have. What are they called? Strategy. Some kind of strategy advisors that basically
Oh,
pays
I know what
attention
you.
to all the
I know.
people in a business, and they tell you
I,
like which person in the business is likely to do X, Y, or Z.
I know what you're getting at now. You're saying you're correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to say like why go for the weakest link because actually the person that you're trying to use the weakest link against already knows they're the weakest link.
Yeah.
Like
What?
and so
Yeah.
they're to be
Exactly.
prepared.
Like
It's not
what?
going to be as
If
successful. You might be wasting your time.
yeah.
Yeah.
If if you can pick. Let me put it this way: if you walk into a bunch of strangers and you manage to pick out, you walk into say a bunch of strangers that know each other, and you try to figure out who the weakest link is, and you manage to find that out in let's say an hour. Well, guess what? Everyone in that entire group already figured that out 3 years ago at their work lunch.
It's a valid point. It's
You're
a valid point.
you're yeah, you're gambling. These are this is once again you have to gamble to actually to hope this works. It's
Hmm.
better to instead of say looking for the weakest link to manipulate.
Hmm.
In a way, you could look for one of the persons that might be more receptive to actually letting you into the group, letting you um bringing you into a conversation.
So
It's
you're saying instead of finding the weakest link, look for the power source in the group. Look for the one that can actually ease your acceptance into it, or actually, get you into a position uh, of what you're
yeah,
trying to acquire. Or yeah,
yeah,
that makes
exactly.
sense. That makes sense, especially in 2026. If you're trying to look at it as like in versions of now in application to other things besides like business, that does make sense. It does. Okay, so now would you like to go on to the next one? Because this one's weird too. They're all.
Yes. Fill the void. The two main emotional voids to fill are insecurity and unhappiness.
Oh,
The
yes.
insecure the insecure are suckers for any kind of social validation. As for the chronically unhappy, look for the root of their unhappiness. The insecure and the unhappy are the people least able to disguise their weaknesses. The ability to fill their emotional void is a great source of power and an indefinitely prolongable one.
Okay. I guess that's right because like once you approach those needs in somebody, they can't help but have a reaction. Like it's such a part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um. And yeah, that's like really taking advantage of people's vulnerabilities. But
And
um,
that's
I think most
this
people know when they present themselves that way. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're all YouTube, like most of us out here, even those of you in the chat, there's quite a few of you. We all have YouTube channels, right? So, like, there's a little bit of like, we like attention, right? There's no freaking denying it. We have
Oh,
YouTube channels
I
with
mean,
microphones, and we're out here talking about stuff, like all of us
mm-hmm.
in our different lanes, talking about the things that matter to us. There's a little bit of like, we like the attention, right? Like there's no denying it. I'm not going to deny it. Like a
No,
woman
of
with a
course not.
mic with something to say. Of course, I like the attention. You call me and you say you want to talk with me. Like, yeah, I like it. Like, sure. You know, you want to get some time with me. All you have to do is offer me to talk about anything. Everybody knows that. Like, come talk about it, Claire. Sure, and I like it. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, pat me on the back, and yeah, I'll listen to you. And if you got an idea you want to sell, or if you want to do a series, you want some promotion, whatever. Yeah, my ears are open because you have done the one thing, you caught my attention by giving me attention. So there you go. So it does work. We all can't deny that it works. It's just I just feel for people that are like, you know, when they say things like chronically unhappy, or people that have a little bit of insecurity or low self-esteem, and to take advantage of those things instead of building those people up is, well, of course, greatly distasteful to me. It's not. I'd rather do the opposite. I'm going to fail at these laws. If you're grading me, Rekkr, we're
Mm-hmm.
up to chapter 33, and there's no way I'm passing, right? I mean, there's no way I'm passing this book.
I mean, you're getting there. You're getting there slowly,
Slow,
but
like I think in the beginning I had a little more tolerance of Green's attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's wearing thin. Like, yeah, like every chapter I'm like, why Green? Why? Like, why? Just why, dude?
Yes.
Like do better. You could have done
Mm-hmm.
so much better. Like, I just, yeah. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about it. We'll probably never have a conversation. Like, I'm sure he doesn't care. I'm sure he doesn't care. He's made his millions.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah.
Um, I something I think is also important to keep in mind is that for each of these, it's asking you to look for someone who is unstable in some way, shape, or form.
Well, we all are
And
in one way or another.
we are, and in a way, it's talking about a truth that every single person has their own personal instability in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
But this wants you to take advantage of someone's deep instability, and that means you would have to build some kind of relationship on unsteady ground. And what's the whole saying about building a house on sand?
It's not stable.
Or
It's not gonna last. It can't
mm-hmm,
sustain. Yes, it's unsustainable. This is true, and that's the damaging part about these. These are all fleeting. You're using people for a purpose and then tossing them away like they don't matter, and it wasn't actual a real conversation or a real relationship or anything of that nature. At least not to you. You're treating people like
mm-hmm,
targets in a means to an end. And I mean, thankfully, most of us can see these people coming. Like, most of us can tell. Like, I don't think I've really got many people that I've come across that this is 100% who they are, like all the time. Do we all end up doing this in some way at some time through some relationship in our life? Absolutely. And we would be a fool to deny that we all don't have this in us, and that we're all not, it's just the way of the world and how things work. When we're talking to a child, trying to convince them to do something, we are using these techniques. So when we are like approaching a new relationship and putting our best self forward, picking up clues on the other person to try to get them interested in us by mimicking their needs, their desires, their interests. We all do it. We all
that's
do
it.
it. Like, it's just to different degrees. So it's not necessarily an evil bad thing. It's just the purpose of you doing it, and like you said in the beginning, the intent, whether that intent is
Mm-hmm.
maliciousness, There's a difference between being emotionally manipulative in a relationship and then just like trying to put your best foot forward for somebody. Like there's a big difference,
Mm-hmm.
a big difference there.
Exactly.
Control, coercive control over just trying to control the pace of a relationship or how it's going forward, and yet coercive control, trying to force these issues in trying to manipulate somebody into doing something they don't necessarily wanted to do, like taking
Exactly.
away taking away somebody else's power in a situation would lean towards maliciousness, you know.
There is
Like,
actually a another use for these particular things. And that's to use it on yourself. Look for your own unconscious signals. Find your own helpless child. Look for your own contrasts. Find where your weakest link is in yourself and find out what the void is that you need to fill. And I think that would actually build you up better as a person than trying to do it to anyone else.
right, instead of having it, and also protect you from them using it against you. Not that you have to be that
Exactly.
paranoid that everybody's out to do this, because we really don't want to promote that either, because that's so easy, like to become very untrusting and not have genuine relationships because you think everybody's out to get you and doing this kind of stuff. And in today's world, I can understand why people feel that way. Stuff gets very damaging. Um, but knowing ourselves better and taking control of the situation is always a good thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason we wanted to do this series is so people recognize these absolutely awful techniques that we see being done everywhere, and trying to put not only a little bit of humor and a little eyesight on it, uh, a little reflection, a little analysis, even, to make it not so damaging to anybody that finds themselves. And also to say that it's so common, don't blame yourself when you fall victim of it too. Um, yeah, just take it as lesson learned, because like you can't know
Mm-hmm.
everything, and you can't be so prepared that you think everybody's out to do these types of things to you either, because what kind of life is that? Like, what kind of bubble is that to live in? We can't. It's not healthy either, for an individual. It, it wouldn't
And
it wouldn't be
and
a
the
great
fact
life.
is, yep. And the fact is, most people are far too lazy to even do this kind of thing.
I will admit to being too lazy to do it. Like, I just, yeah, just damn too. It's just too much work. But I
Mm-hmm.
can't I can't say that it's not successful. I mean, the one thing that Green has proved throughout the book is that these techniques have been used for centuries, as old as time, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
used successfully. And everybody knows about them, and he's put them all together. But uh, they are successful. Like, you can't argue that. But are they
Absolutely.
necessary? Hmm. To some degree, into some levels, it is necessary, but it doesn't have to be vicious. Is my only point. It doesn't have to be absolutely, like, if you can get away with a nick, why viscerate somebody? You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you can, set somebody straight with a couple of words, why have a tirade?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So,
And the
okay.
last one,
Hmm.
I believe it's your turn.
Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Feed on uncontrollable emotions. The uncontrollable emotion can be a paranoid fear, a fear disproportionate to the situation, or any base motive such as lust, greed, vanity, or even hatred. People in the grip of these emotions often cannot control themselves, and you can do the controlling for them. Find out who the person can't stand, find out what they lust after, what's, what their fear. is, yeah, all of that can be used on against them in some way to get what you want, you know. But I don't recommend it. It's just so
No,
silly. I keep
if
laughing, and
so,
this is such a serious subject, and I keep
this
laughing, and it's the ridiculousness of it that people actually spend their time doing this stuff for fun.
yes,
Yeah.
and so I have a little bit of a word of warning when it comes to playing with someone's uncontrollable emotion.
Hmm.
Um, when you when you play on a part of someone's psyche that is that the let's just say the victim finds difficult to control, you have less control over the outcome of it. And there are unfortunately situations where people who have played on someone's uncontrollable emotions, where it has completely backfired
Hmm.
and they've ended up 6 feet under.
It, it
This,
it says
this
the old adage.
is,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
um, this is a, this is not as uncommon as unfortunately it should be. Because if you play, I mean, you're going to get what you give. You play with instability, you're going to get something unstable.
Hmm.
And unstable to you might be perhaps someone who rolls around on the ground after they accidentally brush their little toe up against something.
Hmm.
Saying that a soccer player who gets knocked over on the field.
Hmm.
But, but unstable to someone else might be following you for the next 5 years around everywhere you've moved and turning up
Stalking
and saying hi.
you. Just stalking you. Yeah. In other
Yeah.
words, the old adage of don't push the button unless you know what it's gonna do. You just don't go randomly pushing buttons, people. You don't know what you're asking for.
As fun as it
It's
is.
kind of true. Very, 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 very true. There. Ah, this is one of my favorite parts actually now coming on, where we're going to read
Hmm.
from the book, of course, we're going to read a little bit, but it has history. And I love hearing the history of how this stuff has played out in the past. The great con artists in Talleyrand, the great French politician, like the politicians, the philosophers, in the kings and queens of court, in how they did it. This is one of my favorite parts. But, and you may recognize, if you've been following this series, you'll recognize these names because they are in history as some of the greatest manipulators around. And Green refers to them a lot. I think he has a thing for Talaran actually, but he does use like these
And
people.
Lustig.
Yeah, I mean Talaran. Almost every chapter lately, we had been
Mm,
featuring him, which I don't mind because he was he was a masterful politician actually of the time.
yes.
Well, would you like for those of you that would like to follow along, again, the link is in the description for the PDF to the book. And the pages that are listed are to the PDF, not the actual book. If you have the actual book, you're just going to have to go to chapter 33 to figure out where we are, because the pages that we're listing on here are for the link down below and correlate to those pages. So, would you like to start?
I can do that. So we'll start with Victor Lustig. Uh, in December of 1925, guests at the swankiest hotel in Palm Beach, Florida, watched with interest as a mysterious man arrived in a Rolls Royce driven by a Japanese chauffeur. Over the next few days, they studied this handsome man who walked with an elegant cane, received telegrams at all hours, and only engaged in the briefest of conversations. He was a count, they had heard, Count Victor Lustig, and he came from one of the wealthiest families in Europe. But this was all they could find out. Imagine their amazement, then, when Lustig one day walked up to one of the least distinguished guests in the hotel, Mr. Herman Loller, head of an engineering company, and entered into conversation with him. Loller had made his fortune only recently, and forging social connections was very important to him. He felt honored and somewhat intimidated by this sophisticated man who spoke perfect English with a hint of a foreign accent. Over the days to come, the two became friends. Loller, of course, did most of the talking. And one night he confessed that his business was doing poorly, with more troubles ahead. In return, Lustig confided in his new friend that he too had serious money problems. Communists had seized his family's estate and all its assets. He was too old to learn a trade and go to work. Luckily, he had found an answer: a money-making machine. You counterfeit? Loller whispered, in half shock. No, Lustig replied, explaining that through a secret chemical process, his machine could duplicate any paper currency with complete accuracy. Put in a dollar bill, and 6 hours later you had two, both perfect. He proceeded to explain how the machine had been smuggled out of Europe, how the Germans had developed it to undermine the British, how it had supported the Count for several years, and on and on. While Loller insisted on a demonstration, the two men went to Lustig's room, where the Count produced a magnificent mahogany box, fitted with slots, cranks, and dials. Loller watched as Lustig inserted a dollar bill in the box. Sure enough, earlier the following morning, Lustig pulled out two bills, still wet from the chemicals. Lustig gave the note to Loller, who immediately took the bill to a local bank, which accepted them as genuine. Now the businessman feverishly begged Lustig to sell him a machine. The Count explained that there was only one in existence, so Loller made him a high offer, $25,000, then a considerable amount, more than $400,000 in today's terms. Even so, Lustig seemed reluctant. He did not feel right about making his friend pay so much, yet finally he agreed to the sale. After all, he said, I suppose it matters little what you pay me. You are, after all, going to recover the amount within a few days, by duplicating your own bills. Making Loller swear never to reveal the machine's existence to other people, Lustig accepted the money. Later the same day, he checked out the hotel. A year later, after many futile attempts at duplicating bills, Loller finally went to the police with the story of how Count Lustig had conned him with a pair of dollar bills, some chemicals, and a worthless mahogany box. Now, the interpretation. Count Lustig had an eagle eye for other people's weaknesses. He saw them in the smallest gestures. Loller, for instance, overtipped waiters. He seemed nervous in conversation with the concierge. That word. Yep.
Yeah, concierge.
Concierge. Talked loudly about his business. His weakness, Lustig knew, was his need for social validation and for the respect that he thought his wealth had earned him. He was also chronically insecure. Lustig had come to the hotel to hunt for prey. In Loller, he homed in on the perfect sucker, a man hungering for someone to fill his psychic voids. In offering Loller his friendship, then Lustig knew he was offering him the immediate respect of the other guests. As a count, Lustig was also offering a newly rich businessman access to the glittering world of old wealth. And
Mm-hmm.
for the coup de grace, he apparently owned a machine that would rescue Lola from his worries. It would even put him on par with Lustig himself, who had also used the machine to maintain his status. No wonder Lola took the bait. Remember, when searching for suckers, always look for the dissatisfied, the unhappy, the insecure. Such people are riddled with weakness and have needs that you can fill. Their neediness is the groove in which you place your thumb and turn them at will.
Mm. Always the con man, right? This
Mm-hmm.
Lustig, the famous con man. Like,
See,
mm, mm,
here's the really dumb thing that Lustig did here. Um, and why he is clearly very much a con man and only knows how to be a con man. Um, he the guy he was conning was an engineer. Last time I checked, engineers were really great at doing something. What's it called again? Engineering. Yeah, they're good at
you
engineering.
got to figure out the box doesn't work and why. Like, and
Well,
what? But the
he could
fascinating
have.
part is that he is an engineer and he fell for it anyway because
Yeah,
he just
that
wanted the
actually
money.
that.
He wanted to get rich. He wanted prestige. He wanted to be an equal to
Yep.
people who thought were better off than he was. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
just shows you the this is why you need to know what your weaknesses are so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't fall prey to them yourself. Like, put yourself in these, like,
Yes.
yeah. Because he's like, you're right. It sticks out. He's an engineer. Like, how did he fall for it? And also, like, somebody, I mean, yeah, he took the money to the bank and they authenticated it for him. And so, still, it's so fantastical. Why would he believe it?
Well, not just that, but it he if Lustig what knew how to do business, he would have probably been better off actually working with the engineer to, you know, engineer stuff
True.
and probably build a lasting
Yeah.
business with someone
Mutually.
who's
Yeah.
yeah, with someone who is smart enough to be an engineer.
Well, I will say Lustig was smart enough to leave. I mean, you don't want to pull one over on an engineer like this for $400,000 and then be in the general vicinity to answer questions. Like,
Oh
because
wait,
something bad could happen to you. Like, so,
sorry, he's the head of an engineering company. Either way,
okay, he's
he still has access to a bunch of really smart engineers.
well, here's a question for you. Do you think that year that it took for him to finally go to the police, do you think he took the box into the company and had the engineers look at it and try to,
Oh hell no.
you think he'd be too embarrassed? Yeah.
I reckon he was way too embarrassed.
So you think he just like kept trying for a year to make it work?
Yes, I think he once he realized or once he had the inkling that it was fake, he felt too self-conscious to even contemplate trying to
And because he was already insecure, Lustig knew that would
mhm.
buy him time. That would buy
Yep.
him time. Yeah, because he's not
Mhm.
going to just like run to the cops and go, "I was made a fool of." No, it took
Yep.
some time. It had to become unbearable. Yeah.
Well, more often than not, people who get scammed don't say anything because out of sheer embarrassment.
Well, that's because con men are notoriously good at reading people and doing these laws. Like, they actually make it their art form, you know. It
Mhm.
does feel so callous, Clarence. It really does. I hear you. It really does. I mean, Lustig took advantage of lots. I mean, isn't he the one that sold the Eiffel Tower?
I think that was either him or
Somebody did, and then they sold it repeatedly, which was bizarre. You know,
yeah.
they actually were able to do it more than once, like which was in insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Hey, Sin. Yes, we're back. Yes, we're back.
That we
We are happy to be back, and we are happy you're back too.
absolutely.
Okay, so Clarence, I don't want to disappoint you, but the next one's pretty callous too, because these guys are master manipulators, just master manipulators here. So the next one, and by the way, there are 5 examples in the book, but we're only picking out 2 of them. A lot of them were in French courts, and like with Catherine and Louis the Six, like yeah, Catherine de Medici. In Yeah, they were longer and a little not as really relatable. Like I mean, it was all about the chapter, but still, um, it was just we were tired of talking about France, to tell you the truth. So we picked other ones.
Don't get
But
me
anyway,
started on the French.
I know. Here we go.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes, I don't. I'm sending you the DMs. If anybody starts complaining about your attitude towards the French, you're gonna have to answer those. Yeah. So observance 4 from the book is Arabella Huntington, wife of the great late 19th century railroad magnate Collis P. Huntington, came from humble origins and always struggled for social recognition among her wealthy peers. When she gave a party in her San Francisco mansion, few of the social elite would show up. Most of them took her for a gold digger, not their kind. Because of her husband's fabulous wealth, art dealers courted her. But with such condescension, they obviously saw her as an upstart. Only one man of consequence treated her differently, the dealer, Joseph Duveen. For the first few years of Duveen's relationship with Arabella, he made an effort to sell expensive art to her. He made no effort, rather, to sell expensive art to her. Instead, he accompanied her to fine stores and chatted endlessly about queens and princesses he knew, on and on. At last, she thought, a man who treated her as an equal, even a superior, in high society. And meanwhile, if Duveen did not try to sell art to her, he did subtly educate her in his aesthetic ideas, namely, that the best art was the most expensive art. And after Arabella had soaked up his way of seeing things, Duveen would act as if she always had exquisite taste, even though before she met him, her aesthetics had been abysmal. When Collis Huntington died in 1900, Arabella came into a fortune. She suddenly started to buy expensive paintings by Rembrandt and Velasquez, and only from Duveen. Years later, Duveen sold her Gainsborough's Blue Boy for the highest price ever paid for a work of art at the time, an astounding purchase for a family that previously had shown little interest in collecting. The interpretation. Joseph Devine instantly understood Arabella Huntington and what made her tick. She wanted to feel important, at home in society, intensely insecure about her lower class background. She needed confirmation of her new social status. Devine waited. Instead of rushing into trying to persuade her to collect art, he subtly went to work on her weaknesses. He made her feel that she deserved his attention, not because she was the wife of one of the wealthiest men in the world, but because of her own special character. And this completely melted her. Duveen never condescended to Arabella. Rather than lecturing to her, he instilled his ideas in her indirectly. The result was one of his best and most devoted clients, and also the sale of the Blue Boy. People's need for validation and recognition. Their need to feel important is the best kind of weakness to exploit. First, it is almost universal. And second, exploiting it is so very easy. All you have to do is find ways to make people feel better about their taste, their social standing, their intelligence. And once the fish are hooked, you can reel them in again and again. For years, you are filling a positive role, giving them what they cannot get on their own. They may never suspect that you are turning them like a thumbscrew. And if they do, they may not care because you are making them feel better about themselves. And that is worth the price. Damn. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yep. I like Catherine too, Mrs. Cassandra. There are some great documentaries and drama series about that whole time. Yeah. Hey, Couch. Nice to see you. Very nice to see you. Long, been a while. I hope you're well.
Isn't it funny how paintings went from being like this sign of how wealthy you are to basically how much money you launder?
Or how much money you launder, or how all mm, presumptuous or braggart. I mean, I like fine art. I do believe that there is a place for this kind of art. And obviously, if I had wealth that I couldn't even count, I would definitely fill my house with art. Obviously, but it can be quite a pretentious kind of hobby. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, better than ever says they're great for portable profits. Yes, they are. And they are
Mm-hmm.
now worldwide one of the biggest money laundering techniques and schemes out there. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Well, interesting.
Easy as
Interesting.
anything.
Yes. Yes. I can't help it, but this
Why do you
image.
think Jackson Pollock got so big?
You know, that's a
that
question for the ages because, like,
it's
I do like modern art, and I'm
it's
not one of
splattered.
these.
It that let's be honest here. It's paint splat.
It's
It's he literally threw paint at a wall and someone went,
okay.
"That's
I
going to be my next $1 million." Yep.
I
I
will be
that
so much like Arabella Huntington if I won, like if I had all this like wealth, because I would be like standing in front of a Pollock and like I don't get it, and I would be saying like I'm not going to pretend that this is making me feel something, except for what it makes me feel is a little bit of how ridiculous the world is. That actually people like he's like, what was he thinking when he did it? Some sucker's going to pay millions for this because I'm going to convince them that there's true feeling and emotion here. Like, was he cursing out the dog who soiled the carpet? Did the phone call from the a telemarketer? Like, did he hate that his doorbell was ringing? Did he run out of alcohol for the day? Like, I don't get like
I like this I like
it's
this idea that this entire painting that's selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars was just because some guy rung a doorbell and he was like, "Oh my god, not again."
and like, damn it,
Ugh.
damn it, damn it, grab the orange paint, have some blue paint, like, damn it. Like, this is what I picture Pollock doing his art. Like, I can't help it. It's just, to me, it just, I don't know. I'm never gonna, I love art, but I'm never gonna say that I could understand some of the, not so much the classics. Let's just say I'm particularly offended by modern art in most cases. And I've done shows on this. I mean, we have artists that sold their poop in a can for millions. Like, and then when you opened up
Mhm.
the can expecting poop, there was just another can inside of it that had the poop. Like, it was the funniest thing ever. Like, I've done whole streams on it, the ridiculous of the art, you know. And I mean, yeah, I don't want to get gross. There's so many examples that I could give. But yeah, sometimes I just think like, art is definitely from a person's individual perspective, what is actually art and what it means to a person. I mean, it's very individualized, like very
Art,
much so. Especially modern
you
art.
can
Like yes.
you can quote me on this. Art is anything anyone's willing to use to launder money.
No, I don't have that skeptical of view of art in general. I love some of the classics. I mean, there's no denying that Monet's Water Lilies is gives you the
I
impression of peacefulness and calm and
I
beauty when
okay.
you
I
look at it. Okay,
Let
and
me
the
rephrase
Mona
that then.
Lisa. Tell me
Modern
you don't
art.
look at the Mona Lisa and wonder what she was thinking. Come on. Who
I
can look
should
at the Mona
okay.
Lisa
Yeah.
and not
Let me let me
wonder?
let me rephrase it. Modern art. Any what it, anything that is modern art is just however much someone's willing to launder money with it.
Oh, stop it. I no. I mean, there is a
A
place.
banana. No, a banana
I know
taped
that's
to a
so from
wall.
it
It
was we did the show. I know it was taped to the
yep.
wall and they paid millions. And it was and the guy was like, "What were you thinking?" And he was like, "It's just a banana. Like, how much would you pay for it?" Is exactly what the artist was thinking.
Yep.
I just I get it, but I'm not against the creativity of art. I think art is beautiful expression, and even modern art can be beautiful and expressive. And I'm not saying it can't make
Absolutely.
you feel something. I'm just admitting that I feel nothing but curiosity at how Pollock got away with it. When I see a Pollock, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate some other art. Like obviously in modern art, let me think of somebody who's really famous that everybody will know who I'm talking about and would evoke him. A Bansky, Bansky. You
Banks
can look
bank
Banksy. Oh,
Banksty? Banks
Bank,
Banksty?
Banksy. You know what I'm talking
Bank
about. Banksy,
I was like, wait, who's this person? Oh, Banksy. Yep.
Banksy. Okay, like when you look at it, it does evoke a message, and it does evoke
Mm-hmm.
like his art. Like he is portraying something there. Yeah, I'm not talking about all modern art, look. So please don't be offended. And like I think artists, I could never aspire to be one. I'm not that creative. I actually admire people that can put emotion and feeling and create something with it. That is a beautiful thing. I just think that some people may not have that intent when they're creating something, that they may be like Jackson Pollock and just threw paint and got away with it. Sorry, not sorry. I just sometimes I stand in front of modern art and go, why? Like, why? Like, yeah, you know, like there was a display at the Museum of Modern Art and it was just a circle. In like, what was that supposed to prove?
Um, do you want the bullshit answer?
Sure.
Well, you see, the circle represents life in all its spectacle, from the
It was a
curve of
white.
how it's created to the nature of its into its infinite. It is a resemblance of love's connection between life and death, the circle of life, the complete cycle of conscious to unconscious beings.
Now, in all honesty, someone at the museum was trying to tell me it was about life. And I'm looking at a white circle on a wall. And the first thing that comes into
Oh,
my
it's
head, I go,
white.
oh,
Oh,
really? I
it's
go, oh,
entirely
really?
different. Sorry,
What a
I take it
boring
back.
life. Like, why did you bother to do this? Nobody needed to know how boring your life was, dude. It's just a big white circle. No, I'm sorry, I'm a bit harsh about it. Like, yeah, I guess that's my bitterness at not being able to make art. Who knows? Call me out if you need to. But Amber, that what you put, like Amber just put something very interesting in the chat. In just as a segue, Pollock. is very useful for debunking creationists. Looks random, actually designed. I want to have that conversation with you, Amber. I want you to show me how it is. I want you to debunk my theory that he's just sitting there having a bad day, throwing paint around the room, and show me how it's actually very actually designed, because I really am interested. I'm not playing here. I really am interested in hearing that side of the conversation. So if you'd like to, anytime, hit me up. You know how to get in touch with me, somehow. Sin says he's not a fan of modern art itself, too. Graffiti, okay, but Pollock is just an accident, not even a happy one. I'm right, like he was pissed. He was pissed. Somebody interrupted his day. I'm just like, but then again, he would be a successful artist because did he not draw out emotion from me? I'm actually annoyed at the fact that he made billions doing that. Like he successful artist, successful. He drew emotion out of me with his art.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he definitely. So he's successful. I guess that would be a win for him. Okay, let's move on. Anyway,
Yes.
Doctor Strange image up here about like putting the thumb screws to somebody. You want to read? Can you?
I can read it. The thumb screw your enemy has. The thumb screw. Your enemy has secrets that he guards, thinks thoughts he will not reveal, but they come out in ways he cannot help. It is there somewhere, a groove of weakness on his head, at his heart, over his belly. Once you find the groove, put your thumb in it, and turn him at will.
Oh my.
I heard some people pay a lot of money for that.
If they're into it, to each his own. There you go. Big business. Yes, Sin. Like that's how we opened the show. Rekkr this chapter is all about torture. I didn't know. Okay. You want to do the authority?
I can do the authority as well. So the authority. Find out each man's thumbscrew. 'Tis the art of setting their wills in action. It needs more skill than resolution. You must know where to get at anyone. Every volition has a special motive, which varies according to taste. All men are idolaters, some of fame, others of self-interest, most of pleasure. Skill consists in knowing these idols in order to bring them into play. Knowing any mainspring of motive, you have, as it were, knowing any man's.
I know it's Gracian. I mean,
I hate
yeah.
these words. Knowing any man's mainspring of motive, you have, as it were, the key to his will. Balthazar Gracian, 1601 to 1658.
The great mangler of sentences is.
Yep.
It's like because he doesn't use punctuation. Like, yeah, you have to read it like 5 times to know where the pause and breaks are. So, yes. All right. Oh, modern day examples. Now, we're requested to do modern day examples a lot when we get comments on our streams. And it seems like people actually don't recognize that we actually do. For every chapter, we try to bring it into the modern day examples of how this law is used. This one may take a while. I'm hoping not. I'm just going to cursor over some of these examples. We didn't do big pictures or a big presentation on it because, well, Rekkr was informing me about the first one, which is a big rabbit hole, and like I wouldn't dive into it unless you got a lot of time, people. But Palantir is a perfect example of using Law 33 because Palantir is the engineered what is it, like a software? It's more than a software. It's like a database software combination package that a company offers that is being used to like
Collect as
predetermine,
much information as they possibly can on absolutely everyone around them.
right, to actually predict outcomes and things like that, and like and the actuality that certain things can happen and all. And it's really became prominent post 9/11 here in America, and our government uses it. Many governments around the world are using it, um, for likelihoods and assessments and profiles, and they're just gathering every kind of information that they can. And we're talking about voice and visuals in your like childhood information, your vaccination and health records, like everything they can on everyone to build a database. And companies are using it too for outsourcing, picking candidates. Political campaigns are using versions of this. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You know, um, to compare it to something that was already in existence, like perhaps the UK's use of CCTV, which is meant as a deterrent to crime and actually an ability to solve crimes by having almost every public space that people use has cameras, and they're all kind of interlaced so that there's access by law enforcement or the government. um you still have your private spaces, but you should be expected that anything you do publicly is of record. It's like that, but worse, because
Hmm.
it's not just public places, it's everything. It's your Google searches. It's like everyone's changing their terms of service to accommodate this. And actually, there's been legislation in the in our American government to try to allow this kind of software to get into places it wouldn't normally be allowed to, into like our social security and our health records and stuff like that. And they've been chipping away at it on saying it's for the greater good. In It's a very controlling kind of software when you think about it, because number one, the government doesn't own the software. It is an outside company. In To me, right there, that's a risk, a great risk
And
to give.
not only that, but it's inevitable. That's here's the thing: is that this whole uh, ability ability for, like, we're talking about being able to be anonymous in on the internet. That's going to be gone. That will almost certainly be gone eventually because of the nature of Palantir, and that is a way of this. This is a way of subtly using. Not. It's not really. It's it's a way that people will give you a thumbscrew because this will be done willingly. People will willingly give up their, I, I, I guess you could call it freedom,
Hmm.
for lack of a better word.
Will they, for
And
safety
and
and security, like
yep,
it's feel
a
protected?
hundred percent.
Yeah.
Yep, the average person will 100% give up their personal. I'm just gonna call it personal freedom for safety.
Oh, then they need to read 1984. Like I come from a sci-fi background in my literature when I was younger, and you definitely got to read about Big Brother taking over in 1984. In the Sometimes the cost is great, very very great.
But this will be willing. That's the thing that I can almost 100% guarantee it will be willing. They will. It will be a willing thing that happens.
Yeah, but that's it. Like people are signing away. Like right now in America, we have options. Like most terms of service have options on whether they can use information for this, that, and everything. There's certain things that they track. Like they don't give you an option back, but they still give you the impression that you have an option on in some things if you're paying attention. You can opt out. You could still use incognito browsers. You could still, you know, not use your real name. You can still do this, that, and everything. But what Palantir does for the government is says like, yeah, you could do that, but just not with us. Like we get to know everything, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of your choices in the matter. Like that's how it is. And to me, that's a bit scary. It's a bit too much, and there is like pushback about it everywhere. But it's not like it's not already been used for the last 10, 15, even 20 years.
It's been, or some form or another of AI has actually been used as far back as the Iraq War. There was a article that came out that was talking about how um, the the people that created the AI Claude,
Mhm.
um, in Anthropic, um, their AI was used to calculate um, uh, good bombing targets on
Right. In
in the Iraq
Afghanistan.
War.
In the
Hmm.
Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Yes, yes, they were. In it was also used in planning for the capture of Hussein, uh, Osama bin Laden.
Hmm.
Probabilities of where he was, tracking of family members, or tracking of all kinds of yes. It, so it has been used by governments in not just the United States. The UK is using it in some way. In other countries are using it also in um, some other ways. But even Law 33 goes beyond that. I mean, Palantir is probably the perfect example of the pros and cons of it, like in one obvious 2026 example, like real modern day, like right now, this is a controversial issue that's going on about how far it should go in what we should do, and whether these techniques, because there's no way to prevent the usage of it to some degree, because it's already, they have a $330 million contract with the company, our government does, for using it. And it's only existing privacy laws that are preventing them from having it everywhere, um, in our government, and they're trying to
Hmm.
remove them because they want to use it. It's beneficial to them, greatly. But is it beneficial to the average American? Is another thing. Are we going to be sacrificing too much for the benefits? Is the question.
What
But
thumb screws are you willing to give up? Is
mm,
basically how it plays out.
in a modern day world in 2026, especially here in America, I don't know about other Americans in the chat, but for myself, I do think in this day and age right now, I live in a more fearful society. I live with a lot of uncertainty. I live with fear. I live with fear of going into war, uncertainty in politics, uncertainty in having things stripped away. Um, Things that I thought we had made progression in that are backward, like we're going backwards on some things. And it's scary. And so I can see why some people will grab this gold ring and think it solves a problem. But the other part of me is, does it really? Is it not going to make things worse in the long run? Like, actually, well, and you're right, seeing going into more war, because like we were already in war, like
Mm.
we were already dealing with wars everywhere. I get that. It's just, you know, a little bit, but you know, besides that, we see Law 33. Nobody could deny the high-profile politicians and status-driven allies who use Law 33 in, well, to point, part of it is a comment that Sin made. Yes, I understand this is likely about smearing honey and coercing, but to me it sounds like I got your wife and kids, and if you do what I say, we're all happy and fine. Blackmail. And if people don't think that that's not going on in politics all the time, absolutely it is. There's a perfect example with how it was used in politics for years and years and years and years. Everybody remember the FBI files by Hoover. He had a dossier on everybody in America. Like everybody he dealt with, every foreign country, everything. He had the FBI and the CIA, working on this, making dossiers on everybody for the purpose of blackmail to get for negotiations to get people to do what he wanted. And it was kind of not as obvious until he died, and then those files were revealed, and his reputation took a big hit because it was really resented. Politicians do it now just for votes. Example, the current president of the United States giving his blessing to a candidate in any other race anywhere is like a good thing for that candidate. It's almost like a win to get into office. And so, don't you think that there's negotiation going on before that? Before I agree to back you in this race, you've got to agree to vote for me on this proposition or this thing I want to change. Or, like, you're now my person. Like, you've got to swear unfelted loyalty to me with anything I want to do. Like, that's what's going on all the time in politics. As well as if you don't give them the unfelted loyalty or do the vote to say they will, where they use their status to blackball you, to speak disparagingly of you, and ruin your career aspirations in politics. Like in one
Mm-hmm.
speech, they are throwing power around and manipulating people this way constantly in politics. Like it's the most obvious example, I think, of this.
Absolutely.
You know, right before the stream, I had just read an article about Pete Buttigieg, some woman randomly calling CPS on him with a fantastical made up story that proved to be false, where him and his family had to go through a whole CPS investigation for a week or so. In how that was a political target, but they used his weakness. He was so happy over Father's Day about having these young children that he adopted, and he posted a picture of it, and they could see that he was proud and he was joy and that his family was his soft spot. So what did they hit? They wanted to hurt him. They went right for his family. And that's just horrible. But it's done every single day. People target your weaknesses with the malicious intent to hurt you. There's no doubt that that person wanted to hurt them, you know. But no one,
Absolutely.
no one keeps their word, especially in politics. Exactly, it's a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
yes men with like a never-ending circle, you know. What do you think about the third example, Rekkr?
Influencers, well, I mean, influencers are excellent at using, well, more often than not, they use pretty much a form of emotional manipulation to get you to turn your thumb screw. They will basically use things like they'll use tactics like making you as a viewer seem like you are superior to people that don't watch this person
Mhm.
um because obviously, if you're watching this person, you're smart, and if you're not watching them, well, you're probably a normie, or you're dumb.
Mhm.
um they're excellent at that. This is the dangerous thing that I was talking about when it comes to playing with vulnerable emotions, or unstable emotions, when it comes to people like influencers, because that's how they get stalkers. That's how they
Mhm.
get people turning up in at their houses and stuff like that. Um, it's because of the nature of playing to other people's weaknesses. More
Mhm.
often than not, a lot of a lot of a lot of people that watch these influencers, these big influencers, they they idolize them. They are willing to they're willing to put them into a god status. And it is very true. It is very, very true that even if they don't do it consciously, there is a subconscious elevation of their perceived value, and you see this a lot because a lot of if you actually look at influencers and how they function, they're straight up. They're literally just working on a house of cards. Everything that they do is solely reliant on the attention that they get. And if that disappears, they completely disappear. They are influencers are actually in more dire straits in many cases. They have less job security than someone who works at a McDonald's or someone who works at a packing factory.
Well, that's the thing, because they're selling you, like, the most popular influencers are the ones selling you the beautiful life or something relatable to you. Like, people often would ask me, because I, on my other hat that I wear with true crime, they would ask me, like, how did, like, Andrew Tate get all these people to follow him? Because he preyed on the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities of a certain type of young man who wanted better, and he put out this image of, this is how you get this life. It's like the guy who like is the investment broker who's on a yacht drinking champagne with a beautiful woman. The sky is blue. This, like, they're dressed like it's on holiday, and he's telling you, you too, with proper investments, can live this life. It's like dangling the carrot, um in front of them for the things they want to achieve, but it's not sustainable because they can't guarantee the outcomes. People eventually see that you don't actually want to be, Andrew Tate, because he's like a nasty person, like, and he doesn't have the life that he portrays that he has. That investment broker who's dangling the life at you. Once you find out that he's robbing money from the elderly and doing scams, like, it's just not, there's the same thing. I mean, it's not sustainable all the time, but they do just love to dangle those pretty pictures in front of you. And who doesn't want a better life? Who doesn't want dream of things being easier, and just having it, just having it all. It's probably one of the most calming uses of this law, is how they do that. And because Sin's right, like, they make you feel like, especially on YouTube and Twitch, right? You have these commentators and influencers who are just like, appealing to something in you that you kind of agree with, whether it be a political, the thing, or a lifestyle, or just like gaming or anything like that, like really broad subjects, and they become an idol or a role model, and then they get you in your grip and they just start fleecing you. You just start making money off you without you even questioning them. You're just like supporting them because you feel like you belong to something. You feel like you're in a group, like he said, like they're like cult leaders and they're building a little group, and you feel like you belong, and everybody has like the same kind of ideas, and you're finally with, like, what do you say? I finally found my people, and here's the leader of my people. So you, like, you want to keep them around, right? Yeah. I see a lot of that scene. Like, it's like, yeah. It's tribalism. Like, when people think they belong, that there's a common thread and they'll belong, they will find themselves doing things to stay in the tribe that they would not really consider if they were outside of it. I'll put it that way.
They actually will create a thumbscrew that the, in this case, influencer can turn. In a lot of cases, they will actually, they may not be someone who is as, say, self-conscious as you might find, but they will allow themselves to be self-conscious, so in a way the influencer can then turn that thumbscrew to influence them further.
Yeah. Well, I think I think those gives everybody a lot to chew on as far as modern day examples of how, and there's many more. Of course, we could go on and on and on forever. Oh, but I think they get the basic gist that it is everywhere around us, like everywhere. Like this law in particular, like people using it. Um, so let's talk about the pros and cons of the law. I'm going to let you do the
Hmm.
pros because you know me, I'm really con like all these laws. it's, it's in my nature.
Claire
Sorry.
Bear, Claire the con, the con bear.
Con bear when it comes to 48 laws. Like I'm just like immediately offended by the manipulation. I can't help it. It's just like, yeah.
Okay, so the pros. It helps you understand. It helps you understand motivations. You become more skilled at spotting people's core fears, desires, and insecurities, which can improve negotiation, persuasion, and conflict management. Conflict management is definitely something everyone should learn. Not enough people understand what conflict management is, or even how to how to do conflict management.
Mm-hmm.
Makes influence more precise. Instead of generic pressure, you tailor your approach to what actually moves the other person, often making deals, requests, or arguments more effective. It can protect you from manipulation. That is the main goal here,
Mm-hmm.
is to make sure people who watch this or listen to this understand what the manipulation is that they're trying to avoid. And it also, by seeing others people's thumbscrew, you're better able to spot when someone is trying to exploit yours and can guard your own weak points. Like we said at the beginning, use this on yourself
Mm-hmm.
as an exercise. Actually, you know what? There's your homework.
Oh my
There's your
gosh.
homework.
You're
I'm
giving
giving
me
you
homework?
homework.
Oh my gosh. I
Use this law on yourself and find every every avenue that you can use to manipulate yourself and work with it.
okay. I'm not grading these. Okay, you are. Like I'm gonna I you're not holding me to the homework, are you? I think I've done enough work on
Um
this. So I
hmm.
got like
Yeah. Should I hold her to it? Should I hold her to the homework? Put in the comments.
you know
Put
they're
in the
gonna tell you
comments. Should we hold Claire to the homework?
I don't know. Hopefully they have pity on me. Like, in the meantime, I'm gonna go on to the cons. Okay, so here's what I think. Like the cons. These are the risks of being concentrating very much on law 33 as a way of life, looking for ways to manipulate people to get what you want. It's got a high ethical risk. Treating others' vulnerabilities as tools easily slides into exploitation, emotional harm, and long-term damage to trust in relationships. Like, is it worth it? Like, you get you get a reputation for it, and there's going to be backlash. People are going to pull back once it's discovered, once you're known for it, once it's been outed. Like like how could you not get side-eyed everywhere you go? you know if people sense you're probing for weaknesses, they may become defensive or hostile. And if manipulation is exposed, it can ruin your credibility and influence. Who's going to trust you when they think you're only out for yourself, or you're out to hurt them, and that you have no regard with how exposing of these weaknesses and using these vulnerabilities will affect them? Like, it shows a great lack of empathy for others. Seriously, it distorts your relationships and judgment by not having empathy for what other people are going through. or thinking that it's harmless, or only focusing on what you want. You know, focusing on thumb screws can make you see people mainly as targets and levers, which can warp your empathetic judgment and lead to overly cynical or paranoid thinking. Yes, yes, that one. Like, like I said before, who has time? Who has time to do this all the time? Like, who wants to actually live their life looking for all of this all the time? To expose others and to do this, like to use them in some kind of way this way. Hey, I don't have time for it. I'm just going to be me. I don't I don't really see a great benefit. I mean, if you accomplish a goal through manipulation and kind of backwards cheating, I mean, that's what I look at it. It's cheating. Is that goal really yours? Did you really accomplish anything? Is it something to be proud of? Because if you didn't get there with pride in with doing things a certain way, respectively, like how long are you going to be there? Seriously, and like, was it really worth it? Those are the things I think about. And I know it sounds like I'm on a soapbox and I'm like put myself above it all, but I actually really think like that. That
I like
price.
to just to interject. I like to look at things this way. The easier you get something, the easier it will go away.
Yeah,
This this is a proven fact. 99% of the time, the easier you get something, the easier it will disappear.
that's
If
why
you
they
want
say easy
evidence,
go.
if you want me to back up my claim, look at what happens to most people who win the lottery. They get it, they blow it, and they end up in rehab.
Easy come, easy go.
And
Yep.
yep, and this, yep, that is exactly what
Yeah.
happens.
Mhm. Yeah.
It,
Oh, it is. I mean, it's nice to think that there are easy ways to accomplish like everything, and you should check them out. Well, if it involves taking advantage, if it involves walking over other people or damaging other people to do it, there's always going to be a big price to pay eventually. Like,
integrity. Never jeopardize your integrity, because that's
no,
all
no.
you have
Once
in
that
the end.
once you have a chink in it, that chink stays. Yeah, that chink does stay. Since is I bribe myself with good food and praise all the time because I am the best. And you know what? I think that's wonderful because I like to do that too. I reward myself. I do. I want to live a life where small rewards are great. You know, I'm not going to wait to eat the ice cream. You know, I
For
don't see
me,
the need.
it's like, what ice cream? There was ice cream? Wait. Oh,
How
yeah, I
do I
bought
get
ice
the ice
cream.
cream? Yeah,
Why is there an empty container?
because you ate the ice cream today.
Damn. Good excuse to get more ice cream.
Exactly. Go get more ice cream. There should always be ice cream. So now we come to the reversal. My gosh, I'm impressed that we kept this it's just over 2 hours. I thought, you know, it would be much worse. But for the reversal, and this is always like, well, yeah, that's the law, but this is why you shouldn't. It is because playing on people's weaknesses has one significant danger. You may stir up an action you cannot control. In your games of power, you always look several steps ahead and plan accordingly. And you exploit the fact that other people are more emotional and incapable of such foresight. But when you play on their vulnerabilities, the areas over which they have the least control, you can unleash emotions that will upset your plans. Push timid people into bold action, and they may go too far. Answer their need for attention or recognition, and they may need more than you're willing to give. The helpless, childish element you are playing on can turn against you. The more emotional the weakness, the greater the potential danger. Know the limits to this game and never get carried away by your control over your victims. You are after power, not the thrill of control. And that's the fine balance that you have to take when considering all of the laws in general, don't you think, Brett? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I wish I could get you all ice cream. I absolutely would. You know,
Oh, that sounds good.
cilantro ice cream. Oh my God, that's a great debate. I actually would like to try
Cilantro
that.
ice cream.
Yeah, I would try it. I would. I think I would like it. I think I would. What do you think? I don't know, Sim, you always come up with such interesting things.
Um, I don't know how I would feel about that. Cilantro ice cream.
Well, do you like cilantro or no? Are you like, because that's a big controversy in itself. People either love it
Wait,
or hate it.
that's that rabbit food stuff. That's
It's an
that
herb.
green rabbit food. Oh no! Oh
No, it's
God!
not. It's not basil and
No!
it's not parsley. It's
Oh,
cilantro. It's what you put on
you can
tacos.
keep your you can keep your rabbit food and all you want, and I'll stick to actual substance.
So I won't be getting you to eat vegetables by sneaking them in your ice cream.
Oh, vegetable! Don't even. Oh, how could you
Okay.
speak of vegetables? Oh,
Anyway, Mrs. Cassandra, there's no such thing as too much ice cream, especially at the heat wave you have going on over there. Like, eat all the ice cream. Eat all the ice cream. Yes. Yes, Teresa's with you. It would be like eating soup. Okay, that's another conversation we can have on another show. Maybe we'll have to bring that into a what the if. We can hit the great ice cream debate. What should and should not be an ice cream flavor? Personally, I think you can make anything into ice cream. Like, yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like beef jerky ice cream?
I'm I kid you not, the creamery that I go to makes like Thanksgiving ice cream. It actually has turkey and gravy and stuffing in it and cranberries. In yeah. Mrs. Teresa's right. Like some people do think cilantro tastes like soap. It has like an aftertaste. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, yeah, you can keep the rabbit stuff.
Okay. But actually I did like lemon basil ice cream. Like it had basil in it in lemon. It was delicious. I did enjoy that. And they do make mint ice cream, and that's an herb, and people love that.
I think I could deal with that.
You're too funny. So anyway, I think we covered it. What do you think? Like I think
I
we
think
covered
we did a good
all
job.
33. Yeah. I do.
For having to take that hiatus. We came back swinging.
I think we did, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that some of you joined us in the live chat. It was really nice to see people here. And for all of you that are watching that aren't in the chat, like, don't be afraid. Like, come on in. We don't bite. But I hope you will meet us in the comments. I really do. Because we do love to hear from you about the series in general and about the topic at all and what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, any questions that you have. We'd really love to hear from you. And we get Rekkr to answer some of them too. Yep. Maybe it wants to know what the hell is wrong with us, like with the ice cream. Like, yeah, like keep it normal. Yes, she's a traditionalist. Don't mess with her chocolate. Don't mess with her ice cream.
Mm,
Blueberry cheesecake ice cream sounds good, Mrs. Cassandra. Now you got me hungry. Yeah,
yes. I might have to get something after this.
I like this. So since says, see y'all next time on 48 Laws with Con Bear and Pro Meat Ice Cream Rekkr.
Yep.
I like the extension. Mine would be con, but anything goes when it comes with ice cream. I mean, after all, it's ice cream. Like I even like ginger
Exactly.
ice cream. Don't get me started. Yeah. But thank you all for being here. It's really nice to be
Yes.
back. And I guess we will be back next week, won't we, Ren?
Yes, and next week's law will be Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one.
Do I have to
Well,
bring my crown in my
I don't need
my
to get taught for that.
No, Mr. Humble, you do not. No, you do not. But I will have to just, dust off my crown. Like, yeah, for
Hmm.
that one. So do we get to act all royal and superior and everything?
Yes.
Do I
Well,
get to say,
actually, I will remain my humble self. So everyone, so it's okay, people. You don't have to praise me too much.
mm, not too much? No. Do I get
No.
to say off with your head at least once?
We'll talk about that.
I might put it to a vote in the chat. Yes. Exactly, seen humble Rekkr. And yeah, you're right. Don't kings get beheaded from time to time? Yes, occasionally. I have heard this. Will we have to bow and curtsy? It would be appreciated, yes.
Yes. Everyone has the first thing
I,
everyone has to write when they come back when they come in next time is bow.
yes. I would say when you come in, bow, and when you leave, back up with a curtsy so no one sees your bloomers. Yes, it's my advice for the day. Actually, it'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah. I want ice cream too. Let's all just end this and go have some ice cream. Would you like to go and have some ice cream with me, Rekkr?
I would love to go have some ice cream. Let's go have some ice cream.
Yes, everybody, I recommend you have our permission to just go get some ice cream, like wherever you are, and I hope you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
it. And if you can't have ice cream, just treat yourself well. That'll be good.
Yes.
Look forward to it, Your Highness. Thank you. I look forward to it. Thank you all for being here. I am forever grateful for all of you that
Mm-hmm.
tolerate my absurdities and ridiculousness out here in the conversations. I truly appreciate every single one of you. And Rekkr, we'll be back. Let's go have some ice cream. Any last words from you?
Yep. Um. Uh. A thumb screw only works if the person actually has thumbs.
There you go. All right. Okay, I hope they clip that one instead of that other one you said. Like, yeah. I'll have less comments. And on that, everyone, have a great night. And more true crime coming during the week. And we will definitely be back here with the rest of the series on Thursday with chapter 34. Good night.
See ya.